A deserted coastal town in Greece. The sky is covered in clouds. A stormy wind lashes the sea water against black rocks. Far beyond the distant mountains, there was an enchanted kingdom named Sarpathia. The ruler of this kingdom was Queen Medusa, who is commonly known as a monster. No one speaks loudly in the city anymore. Even the chirping of birds is silenced there. Everywhere there are only stone statues, some frozen in a running posture, some covering their faces in fear, while a mother has turned to stone forever while shielding her child. People believe that this city is now a living hell, ruled by orders from the peak of that ruined palace by the seashore. Mothers frighten their children, sleep, or Medusa's gaze will fall upon you. She is the sole sovereign of a cursed empire. Her people are afraid, even to breath. When Medusa opens the massive palace gates and steps outside, the surrounding air seems to turn to ice. Every snake on her head looks around hungrily, their venomous tongues flickering. Medusa wears a long royal gown of dark purple that sweeps across the ground, kicking up the dust. Her pupils are no longer like a human. A supernatural bluish fire burns within them. If she looks, lightning strikes from the sky and the ocean waves stand still. She's coming! Close the windows, no one look outside. At the scream of an old man, the entire village became deserted in an instant. The lamppost lights are flickering in the wind. From afar, a strange sound is heard, the hissing of thousands of snakes and the sound of someone walking slowly on the stone floor. As Medusa's heavy footsteps echoed on the main street of the village, the hearts of the people behind every closed door stopped in fear. The temperature of the air had dropped so much that people's breath came out like smoke. When Medusa stood in the middle of the village, her shadow spread across the ground like a long monster. There was an old water tap at the corner of the village street, from which water was dripping drop by drop. As Medusa looked at the tap, the falling water drops turned into diamond or glass-like transparent stone mid-air. Suddenly, a window shutter on the second floor of a house blew open slightly from a gust of a wind. A curious teenager inside, unable to restrain himself, took a glimpse outside. At that exact moment, one of the snakes on Medusa's head roared like an arrow toward that window. Medusa's bluish gaze entered through that gap in the window. No scream was heard, only a heavy sound. The teenager turned into a grey stone statue while still holding the window bars. Medusa had not come to be peaceful today. She began to speak in a low voice, and each of her words sounded as harsh as stone rubbing against stone. You who called me a demoness, you who conspired against me, your silence will not protect you today. From today, this city will be my garden of memories, where no blood will flow, only stone will remain. She raised her hand towards the sky. Immediately, blue lightning descended upon the village, tearing through the sky. But that lightning did not burn the houses. Instead, the walls of the houses gradually became covered in a stony layer. The people were trapped inside their homes. They realized that Medusa wasn't killing them, but rather imprisoning them inside a living tomb. Medusa broke into a loud laugh. At the sound of that laughter, the window glasses of nearby houses began to crack. To the rhythm of her laughter, every snake on her head began to dance frantically. Their hissing and Medusa's laughter combined to create a gruesome harmony. During her laughter, she noticed a group of people fleeing through a lane. Medusa did not run. simply looked at them and laughed loudly once. The flash of that bluish fire from her eyes fell upon the fleeing people. In an instant, they turned to stone, some with an expression of crying, some with hands folded in fear for their lives. Medusa felt a diabolical pleasure as she worked through those stone statues, stroking them. When Medusa returned from the village, her snakes were still whispering excitedly. She walked with tired feet and stood before a mirror. The mirror was covered with a black cloth. Suddenly, a gust of wind moved the black cloth from the mirror. Seeing her own terrifying form, Medusa burst into tears. But from her eyes, not tears, but a hot bluish light like fire emerged. She is standing on the massive balcony of the palace late at night. A blood-red moon is visible in the sky. Hundreds of years of those horrific memories began to float in Medusa's eye. Medusa was a princess whose beauty was as pure as the first light of dawn. But that very beauty became a curse for her. Inside the royal place, she was a prisoner. Her stepmother and the maids hated her. She was made to do the low-level chores of the palace and was kept starving in the dark chambers. But Medusa possessed infinite patience. Despite being a victim of extreme cruelty, she hated no one. She believed that one day, perhaps her father would rescue her from this hell. Medusa's father, King Ariston II, was greedy and power-hungry. He had a sworn enemy, the ruler of the neighboring kingdom, the cruel scorcher Cassian. Cassian knew that there was a strange purity in Medusa's blood. He wanted to sacrifice Medusa in a black magic ritual, not for love, but to gain an unstoppable dark power. Cassian proposed if Medusa was handed over to him, he would give Ariston the power to become the empire of the entire region. Driven by greed, the father didn't listen to his daughter's cry. One dark night, Medusa was forcibly married off to Cassian. When Medusa clung to her father's feet and cried, Ariston kicked her away. For the first time, a stinging pain was created in Medusa's pure heart. In Cassian's foretaste, Medusa's life became more horrific than hell. Cassian gave her no status as a wife. She was kept tied with iron chains. Every day, blood was taken from her body for black magic experiment. She was kept hanging in the dark for days on end, so that all hope and light within her would die. Cassian would tell her, the more you suffer, the more poisonous your blood will become, and that poison will grant me immortality. Cassian's devilry did not stop there. He planned to push Medusa into a mental hell greater than a physical pain. Cassian burst into a crooked laugh. He placed a transparent glass vessel in front of Medusa, where her blood was dripping and collecting, but Medusa remained still. A single tear was still rolling down from her eyes. Cassian, lifting Medusa's chin, tell her, do you think these tears will save you? No, Medusa. This affection, this love, these are your weaknesses. I will suck every last drop of love from your body until your soul sinks into an eternal darkness. Cassian summoned hundreds of hungry wolves and some evil spirit to the dark dungeon of the fortress. Medusa was imprisoned in an iron cage and hung in the middle of the dungeon. Before her very eyes, Cassian would bring the innocent people of his kingdom and subject them to unspeakable torture. Cassian forced Medusa to watch those scenes. He would say, look, Medusa, your silence and your so-called patience are the cause of their deaths. The more you suffer for them, the more powerful black magic becomes. The heart-wrenching scream of the people and Medusa's helplessness together made the air of the fortress poisonous. One day, Cassian brought some of her favorite childhood memories, an old locket given by her mother and some mementos before Medusa. He burned them to ashes before her eyes. Medusa, in a faint voice, said, "Have mercy, Cassian. You have taken everything from me. At least let my memories remain immortal." Cassian said with a loud laugh that memory is a person's greatest enemy. From today, you have no past, no future. There is only this endless agony of the present. Medusa still used to pray, but when she saw that no one was listening to her prayers, when she saw that no one in the world was protesting the devilry being committed against her, then her soft heart began to turn hard as stone. She doesn't cry anymore. There is only emptiness in her eyes now. At one point, a horrific war broke out at the borders of Cassian's kingdom. The sky became heavy with the leaping flames of fire, the wailing of people, and the smell of blood. Cassian saw his kingdom on the verge of fall. He became frantic. Placing Medusas on the cart's altar, he raised his medical sword. He shouted, "Your pure blood will make me win this war. Medusa, today your death will be the key to my victory." Medusa was still bound in chains, but there was a strange silence within her. She was no longer crying. She only saw her father, Ariston, standing far away, smiling cruelly. At that exact moment, Cassian moved to bring the sword down upon Medusa's chest. Just 1 inch before the sword touched Medusa's body, a thick black bolt of lightning from the sky struck directly onto the altar. The chains snapped like sparks of fire. Medusa screamed in pain, but the scream was not like a human's. A strange hissing sound spread through the air. Medusa's golden hair began to turn into individual living, venomous snakes. Seeing the flickering tongues of the snakes and Medusa's bluish fire eyes, Cassian stepped back. The sword in his hand began to tremble in fear. As Medusa slowly stood up, every step of hers was royal and destructive. As Cassian went to strike with his sword, he found his hand was not moving. Medusa simply turned her pupils toward Cassian's. Medusa, in a terrifyingly calm voice, said, "You wanted immortality, didn't you, Cassian? Then stay frozen like this forever." In an instant, Cassian turned into stark white stone from head to toe. The horror of the final moment remained in his eyes. Cassian could never move again. He is now the first stone furniture of Medusa's palace. Medusa stepped out of the fortress. The warring soldiers froze up on seeing her. She simply looked at the sky and laughed once. Along with her laughter, hundreds of surrounding soldiers, horses, and everyone, regardless of friend or foe, turned into stone statues. When Medusa stood before her father, King Ariston, clutched her feet while trembling in fear. Ariston said, "Medusa, my daughter, forgive me. Whatever I did for our kingdom." The father who had sold her, the royal place that had tortured her, Medusa went there and killed no one. She simply looked at the palace once. The entire royal palace and every person inside it sunk into an eternal stony silence. Medusa walked through those stone statues and sat on the throne. There are no enemies, no one around her anymore, only rows upon rows of stone statues. She has no longer hates anyone because there is no one left alive to hate. The snakes on her head now play peacefully on her forehead. She is such a queen who is an empire unto herself, an empire where there is no breath, only an immortal and cursed silence.